Okay, so here we go with my review of the longest ever WrestleMania. Probably the longest ever wrestling pay-per-view in history, period. Now, before I get started on this review, I just want to take a little more time to discuss a statement I made about 2D fighting games in my last video. I claimed that they were a bit outdated. That was my opinion, but I now realize that I could have worded it better, but I was in a hurry and I didn't want to take up too much time explaining that. But you know, I could have just said that I prefer 3D fighting games and just left it at that, but I wasn't thinking at the time. I had been postponing this video for so long that I just wanted to get through it and get it out of the way so I can focus on other things, such as this review. So let's get to it. Woo! Yeah! So let's get this out of the way. Kofi Kingston has finally done it. Yes! History in the making. 40 years in the making. Finally. It was a very competitive match, but in the end Kofi finally did it. He is the first ever full black African American WWE champion in history. And it shouldn't have taken this long, but it finally happened. Full disclaimer, I am a little bit buzzed, but that shouldn't interfere with the review. But if I start to slur my words, just know that that's why. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's get started with everything else. Starting with the Hall of Fame. Now, the Hall of Fame was actually pretty good. I actually got to catch it last night, and there's a few things I want to talk about. First off, I want to talk about the fact that some piece of garbage actually had the nerve to attack Bret Hart during his induction speech. It was unbelievable. At first I thought it was a work, but it couldn't have been, because they tried so hard to cover it up, right? It couldn't have been. So that was ridiculous. And after reading his tweets, I think he was gonna try the same shit tonight, but you know, they stopped him. And good on Dash Wilder for popping him one, and Travis Brown and other people. The guy deserved an ass whooping, and I'm glad that he's been taken care of. You know, just another piece of trash looking for attention, and he shouldn't have got it, but lots of people have been talking about him, and I shouldn't even be talking about him, but I am. If only to pass the time. Now, let's get to the rest of the card. The first match, here's a shocker. It was Lesnar versus Rollins, and Rollins actually won after getting his ass kicked for about 5 minutes or so, and then coming back with a low blow, and then 3 curb stomps, and it was over. He is the Universal Champion, the 5th ever Universal Champion. You know why he's the 5th ever Universal Champion? Because Brock Lesnar held it for 2 years. The longest ever reign in the history of that title belt. The longest ever. Okay, so the second match, AJ Styles versus Randall Keith Orton. And AJ Styles actually wins. Good on him. I'm just going to be running through a few of these, not going to be taking too much time. But it was a very great match, and you know, quite a bit back and forth. AJ, he came to win. He stopped Randy Orton's RKO at every turn. He countered it like I think 2 or 3 times at least. And the last time Randy Orton tried to do it on the ropes, AJ stopped that right away. AJ he's like, nope. And so he got the phenomenal forearm, and that's it. Third match, Usos versus The Bar versus Ricochet versus Ricochet and Black versus Rusev and Shinsuke. Usos win. Very exciting tag team match. Lots of high spots. Lots of Ricochet being Ricochet. All that good stuff. And that's all I have to say about that. Usos retain. Miz versus Shane. This was a ridiculous match. It was a good match for a slugfest. But The Miz did a little bit of an oopsie. The Miz actually got himself pinned. The Miz, after doing a superplex off a structure of some sort onto a hard mat, he got pinned by Shane McMahon and then lost. Only The Miz could actually screw himself over in a match. What is that? So, yeah, The Miz loses. The fifth match, the tag team champions, the women's tag team champions, Sasha and Bayley versus the Samoan Slaughterhouse versus Iconics versus Natalya and Beth Phoenix. The Iconics actually win. They actually win. And I didn't see that coming, but it happened. It was a decent match. Good to see Beth Phoenix back in the ring, if only for one night. Now, we got the 8th match. No, wait, let's skip that match. Forgot. 6th match, it was Bryan versus Kofi, of course. Kofi wins. Already discussed that. 7th match. Rey Mysterio versus Joe. And Rey Mysterio actually came out dressed as Mysterio from the new Far From Home Spider-Man movie. Which, I don't like Mysterio. I don't like him at all. I don't like that villain. Another thing I want to discuss about the Hall of Fame, though, before I get to the next match, DX was the best part. The DX was probably the best part, especially when they got into their little gags and everything. And then you have Road Dogg pointing at the crowd and yelling, "That's the mayor of Knox County," a little jab at Kane, of course. And so moving on. Oh, Joe wins, by the way. I forgot. Joe wins in short fashion, choking Rey Mysterio out. 8th match. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. And of course Roman Reigns wins, because you can't have someone come back and then lose. Drew needed this. He really did. He really needed this. It's ridiculous. I know. A lot of people are high on Roman Reigns. I mean, I like him, but I think Drew needed this win. You know, decent match, whatever. Triple H versus Batista. Very good brawl, very back and forth. Batista doing some spine buster spears. Triple H doing a power bomb on the steel steps, spearing Batista through the announce table. Good stuff. And of course Triple H wins because he needed his win back, right? He needed his win back.
I'll find them.
We can't move.
Angle versus Corbin.
When you're free, get out fast. You can walk, help me in.
Before I get to that, John Cena returned as the Doctor of Thugonomics and roasted Elias. And he did it before doing the FU to Elias. And that was that. I really didn't, you know, whatever. Oh, and the Battle Royal, right? The Andre Memorial Battle Royal was won this year by Braun Strowman, who barely won it because he kept almost getting eliminated. Sorry about that. But he almost kept getting eliminated by the two SNL guys. I won't even bother remembering their names because they're not important. But those asshats. Oh my god. If you saw their little promo banner, those two guys looked like they were hosting the Battle Royal as opposed to being in it. It was just weird, and it was stupid. It was dumb. But moving on, because I don't want to take up too much time with those assholes. The next match. Oh, by the way, Corbin loses. Corbin wins, I mean. Corbin wins the next match. Yeah, Corbin should have gotten that kind of recognition when he had hair and when he was the lone wolf. I'm not a big fan of Constable Corbin. I don't like Corporate Kane 2.0. I don't like that look. It's just stupid to me. I just think it's dumb and it's ridiculous. Shouldn't have happened. Anyway, you have that match going on. That's kind of stupid. Like, that shouldn't have even been his last match in the first place. And then you have Corbin win. Angle deserved better. John Cena was there. He could have easily taken over. But I guess they figured, what the hell, we'll leave Corbin in it. It was kind of stupid. But it happened, and that's how it is. And then you have Lashley versus Balor, the Destroyer, versus Cruiserweight Cena. And of course, the Demon Cruiserweight Cena wins. He wins in very easy fashion, I might add. What happened? What happened to the Destroyer? Walking Armageddon. This guy that just ran over people in Impact Wrestling. Now he comes back to the WWE. He does hardly anything. Beats up a bunch of fucking second-rate wrestlers. A bunch of nobodies. Little guys. And he loses to several cruiserweights. And the only time he wins nowadays is with the help of a guy that looks like he could be his son. So it's like, this guy was promoted to be the only legitimate threat to Brock Lesnar, and now he's being booked like a joke. Ever since he lost to Roman Reigns. Are we just gonna have Roman Reigns be the next John Cena after all? You know, anyone who loses to him just does not get to win in a legit fashion anymore. It's stupid. It's dumb. Lashley should have won that match. I don't care if it was the Demon. I don't care if he was facing the Demon. It should have been Lashley winning and retaining. Not because of his son. Not because of his son that he has as a manager. Not his real son. But still. Not because of that. But because he is a legit powerhouse. That's why he should have won. Okay, let's get to the main event. The final match. Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. And it first of all, Becky won in a very competitive triple threat match. Aside from one moment where the table didn't break once again. And that's exactly why women wrestlers aren't taken seriously. No, I'm serious. Like, I'm not sexist. I'm just saying, if that had been a man, the table would have broke. I'm just saying. And that's just how I feel, man. Like, that's why women's wrestling is not taken seriously, because of shit like that. And then you have Ronda Rousey doing her typical shoot nonsense, where she's just beating the hell out of both women at the very beginning. But of course, they come back and beat her. You know, doing some pretty sick spots. I think it was Charlotte that did a fall away slam, or maybe like some kind of T-bone suplex into the barricade again on Ronda Rousey. And she did there was a double power bomb when she tried to when Ronda Rousey tried to submit both women. That was pretty impressive. And there was some really good spots, man, and it shows that the women are good at wrestling, but certain things they should never try. Like trying to break tables. The women have always had trouble with this. So many times these spots have been messed up. When are they going to realize that the women just aren't meant for that atmosphere? The women are never going to be the table breaking kind of wrestlers, and it shows. I mean, all in all, it's a really good, you know, feel good type of main event. And it took a long time to get there. 12 matches, man. There was 12 matches on the main card itself. 12 damn matches. And Ron Simmons, speaking of damn, he actually appeared when they were promoting a Daniel Bryan t-shirt, which is now out of date because Daniel Bryan lost. Daniel Bryan championship t-shirt. And Ron Simmons actually said damn, you know, to the B team who were promoting the shirt because they have nothing else to do. Asuka got screwed again. Yeah, Carmella is the winner of the Women's Battle Royal. Go figure. Hall of Fame. One more thing to touch up on. They finally acknowledged China as a pioneer of women's wrestling. And that's a good thing. So with that being said, enjoy the rest of this clip because I've said all I can. And I will see you whenever it is that I feel like making another video, which for wrestling, I'm only going to do reviews for the 4 big pay-per-views until I get my shit together. So with that being said, so long for now.